guys, welcome back to another episode of Oru Kural.
Today we're going to be discussing female friendships in the Tamil community, and we're joined with Abinaya. So how have you guys found navigating female friendships within the Tamil community? Because for me personally, female friendships have been so pivotal in my development, one throughout teenagehood but also into adulthood. Obviously I went to an all-girls school. There's such like a girlhood. Because of that, I have had such positive experiences of female friendships, but I feel like when it comes to the Tamil community, it definitely has been difficult. Like, I've definitely had issues. So I feel like it's interesting to kind of see what you guys' experience has been and how you guys feel about this.
My experience again was a girls' school as well, but I didn't have any like other Tamil students. But I do feel like, obviously, like when I came to university now, and university is very much split into like, you know, societies and like with your cultural group and like people that you share characteristics with. And I wouldn't say like I've struggled, but I haven't found myself necessarily, and maybe it's because like I had COVID in my first year of uni, like I haven't found myself have like very much established female friendships within the Tamil community. But I feel like it's a lot harder to connect with a lot of Tamil girls, and I feel like it is because, and not like in a bad way, but there tends to be a bit of like hostilities between each other, and like a bit, and it comes from a bit of like how the system's set up to like make women compete against each other.
It's almost like a defense mechanism, like
like judge before you're judged.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Like you always, you know, the side eye you give it. Yeah, when a new girl comes in,
like just in case.
And you like acknowledge the fact that they're Tamil. And it's almost knowing that you're like, oh, and you give, like you, like what you said.
Yeah, like judge before you even get judged.
Yeah, like you become very much defensive because you're like, I don't know who this girl is, but, and you know what I mean? And I think everyone's guilty of it, like I've done it before, like everyone's guilty of it. And I feel like it's very much a girl thing to do, because actually you feel like that and then you speak to the girl, and actually, and you become so embarrassed because you're like, I gave so much, I gave so much good for no reason.
Talking about competition, I'd say for me that started more in school time. If I had to go back to primary school, I was at only Tamil in my primary school, and I went to secondary school, and like I went to all girls school as well, and pretty much most of my school was Tamil, which I really liked. Felt kind of like home because we all had like a similar upbringing. But then I'd say that's when the competition started as well. Like from parents' side, they'll be like, you have to get better marks than so and so, and it was always like you're friends, but you're also pitted against each other.
You're taught to compete.
Compete,
It's because they speak between themselves and they're like, oh, my daughter's doing this, or this person's doing
this. Yeah, like they want to compete with their female friends.
Yeah,
so they make us compete with our female friends.
100%. For us, growing up, when you see that within your own family, and then when you meet people as friends, new people, like new Tamil girls, you're obviously gonna, naturally it's like, oh, you're comparing yourself with that person. It's like,
because you start internalizing it. Do you not feel like sometimes it's perceived competition, like there's not actually any competition, like because you've internalized it so much, and it's like what you said, like they're trying to compete against each other by using their kids, and when you internalize that, I feel like you start to have a lot of like you think there's going to be competition when you come to university, and you see everyone as like, this is competition, but there's actually not anything.
Yeah, because by the time you get to university, you have freedom, and your parents aren't tying you down. So the competition that was coming from there, that shouldn't be there when you go to university. Like when you get to uni, there's so many more people. Like you're not in your class of 30 that you were in school. You're actually competing against so many other people, even when it comes to exams and things like that. And the Tamil community is so much bigger in uni. So as much as ideally that competition you'd think it wouldn't be there, but it is. If anything, I'd say it's worse. There's so many talented people that dance, sing, makeup, especially with social media. It's not like, oh, you're in Tamil school and like Kamala's daughter is dancing better than you. Do you know what I mean? Your parents aren't there.
Internally competing.
Yeah. When you get to uni and there's competitions or dance, it should be healthy competition.
To motivate you.
To motivate you. You think that it should be, you know, you're competing against each other. If you do a competition, that's not like COG, you're competing against each other, but you're still cheering for other teams, and it should be that's the vibe. Even then, sometimes there is a bit of
like getting the main roles and stuff like this. Oh my god, those are always there's always some.
It's like, how does she do it? How can she do that?
Just touching on what you said, when it comes to uni as well, you feel more of that competition and like internalize it only within your own community though, because that's where you've got it the most from. I do humanities and you don't see a lot of Tamil people on humanities. So my closest friends at university, like, they are all not Tamil, they are either white, they're black, they're Arab, like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's very different. And because of that, I feel like I don't see competition, even though we're literally going to be competing for the same type of jobs, like civil service will all be applying for the civil service, and technically I have more direct life competition with them, but I will never see them as competition. I will be like, those are my girls. But as soon as it comes to people that share the same culture as you, it's because like you see more like, it's like so more like cultural things that you start to compete on.
Do you know what? I think with the more competition in your own community, like, I think that kind of comes from the scarcity mindset though, 'cause especially with diversity and inclusion, being Tamil is quite niche, and I feel like it's a thing where, and this is, I would say I've experienced as well, when you're a social science student, especially like a Tamil social science student, you're even more niche. So I feel like in these spaces where you're with your Arab friends, your black friends, your white friends, you fit into that niche. You're okay because you are the only Tamil social science student.
Yeah.
Whereas when you're in the Tamil scene, there's all of these other people, so it's like, who gets that spot?
And who, like, what
who gets to
defines you?
represent
What makes you stand
what
out?
makes you different? Because you're not different anymore. You're not.
You don't
You know
have
what I
that
mean? You don't
category.
have that,
Yeah,
and I think that's one thing that I've definitely noticed at uni specifically. Like, I feel like everyone fights for kind of almost identity factors.
This is so true, because that's why you see some people become like really established in makeup.
Yeah,
Some people
100%.
really established. in,
Even
like,
me, like, I'll be so honest. Like, the feminism, it's because it's an identity marker. 100%.
Yeah.
It's like. Feminism, Ovea. You know, I'm sure you guys, like, as soon as you go on feminist rants, people probably go to you, oh, here we go, Ovea's influenced you. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, love you guys. It's an identity marker. Like, I'm not going to say I'd be in competition with another feminist, because absolutely not.
Yeah.
But you are going to feel a bit kind of like, oh, okay.
That's my territory. Yeah. Do you know what though? I feel like that, for example, like in my group at uni, like I'm very much like, even my dissertation, I whole things about Tamil politics and Tamil political engagement. So that's my like niche thing.
Yeah,
that's my
exactly.
thing. When it comes to like all Tamils, actually we all care about the same thing.
We all care about the same thing. Everyone wants to talk about it in politics.
Everyone's a dancer.
Yeah.
Everyone's a makeup artist. Everyone like is. Do you know?
Everyone fits into those niches.
So then you start. I don't know if that's when a lot of people feel like, a lot of girls feel like they need to overcompensate.
Yeah.
That's when they start like either they burn out or they end up getting a really bad name for themselves.
Yeah.
One thing I found with female friendships is a lot of it bases off, you know, that common thing of like, when I first met you, I thought you were a bitch.
Yeah, I get that all the time.
I get that a lot. A part of it is like, we make snap judgments of each other, and you interact with that person and you realise actually they're not as rude as you thought they were.
One thing with me in Tamil female friendships, like, when I have children, as much as I have all my other friends, ultimately because I'm raising them as Tamil children, my Tamil female friendships are going to be the friendships I will most likely lean on the most. And you see that with all of your parents. As much as cousins, whatever, there's all of these other support networks they have, it's always Tamil female friendships that they rely on the most.
Because there's that understanding. Like, at the end of the day, another Tamil girl will understand your experiences. Like, if I'm talking about my experience with my something, or like, do you know, like specific things that are catered towards you?
There is kind of like a sisterhood in that.
Yeah. No, because you don't want to go to another community and feel like you fit in better with them rather than your own community, because you don't have that judgment there.
I have a lot of Tamil friends that aren't in the Tamil community and that don't really associate with the Tamil community because they do fear that judgment, and they also have had those terrible experiences because they do just choose to live life slightly differently. And I think as much as we try to say we are progressive as a community, we're not. Things haven't really changed. I think we've become a lot more open, but I think the judgment is still there, and it's still in the same full force.
When we're talking about who you lean on, who you choose to lean on, and again, like, who will understand you the most, we're literally in the same boat of like second generation, like, we're born here. Like, we have that thing of like, you want to be Western, but you also want to like stay close to your roots. And like, when you have Tamil female friends that are in the same position as you, it's easier. Like, for example, when there's been spaces where it's just been women, or there's been situations where women have been brought together, those have been times where I've looked at them and I've been like, wow, this is such a lovely community, like, everyone's uplifting each other. And then when you don't see that replicated because like other factors come into play, even the presence of other guys there, like it just alters the whole situation. That's when you see a lot of this judgment, a lot of competition, a lot of all the things we're talking about. That's when you see that become more prevalent.
I feel like that judgment, as you said, that does, and I don't mean to like centre it around men, but I feel like it does come when men enter the conversation, and I feel like that's for me is the biggest reason why on my Instagram and stuff, like I'm so kind of decenter men and da, 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 da. It's not because I want everyone to be raging lesbian, like that's not the case, as much as I know some men want to believe that. It's simply because I think the scarcity mindset I was talking about earlier, I think that also does apply to relationships, and I think we are put in it quite a lot. I feel like there is so much external pressure to find someone and find someone good and get married and, you know, have children and all of that, and I feel like because of that, I feel like Tamil women put so much pressure on themselves to be these perfect, idealistic versions for men, and they waste so many years of like just youth and like fun and finding out who you are and
always being amicable, always being agreeable,
you know
always
what I
being
mean?
nice.
And like figuring out who you are, you know. I feel like you see so many Tamil women, especially on TikTok, like a lot of these older Tamil women on TikTok are talking about how they're like rediscovering themselves. Even like Annie, when she came on to talk about womanhood, her talking about rediscovering herself, I feel like this is the thing that we need to realise, that we are wasting so much of our youth thinking about a future that like you can't control, you just
like
don't know when it's going to
come
happen.
regardless.
Yeah,
like,
you know
the way
what I
you get
mean?
there is determined by you. Even when you're saying like how we've been so centered around men and like it's because you feel like you need to stand out and you need to be the best choice, and you put so much pressure on yourself that you don't speak your mind. And I feel like I've witnessed so many situations where like something bad will happen, or something that goes against your integrity, that something happens, let's say there's a case of behaviour that you wouldn't agree with, but you wouldn't see a girl question it, either because it's her friend, she doesn't want to like, or she doesn't really label a feminist, she doesn't or there'll be a situation where a girl says something, she doesn't be labelled a pick me. It's because we want to avoid these labels and like being put in these boxes, because we don't want to have a bad name, and because of that fear, because we feel like that bad name will ruin our potential in the future. And like again, like you said, it puts so much pressure and it ruins, and we ruin our ability to enjoy our youth.
Exactly, you ruin your chance to figure out who you are and genuinely be happy. Like all of the happiest women I know are literally 40 and single. I'm not even joking. Like they're so free and they're so happy because they just get to live. And I think,
and they've made decisions on their own time.
Yeah, exactly. And I think you need to be able to do it, because also it's kind of like, what message are we sending to men? You know what I mean? What message are we sending to them? Are we saying to them, do you know what? You guys think what you think. You guys behave how you behave. We're just going to agree with what you do. We're just going to stroke your egos and we're just going to conform. Or are we going to respect ourselves? And I don't mean to say that in a judgmental way, but are we going to respect ourselves, respect our integrity, respect our values, and stand to who we are as Tamil women, and allow them to understand that and change too? Because this is the thing, right? When I went to Sri Lanka this summer, the amount of men you see carrying the babies and like walking around with the kids, babysitting, being very like quote unquote maternal, whilst the wives are being airport dads. And it's because Tamil culture is very matriarchal. Like Tamil households are set up to be very centered around the mother. So it's just so like, I don't know what it is within the diaspora that's made us.
But I feel like it's because, you know, as women, not just Tamil women, but as women, we're taught to be so like agreeable. Like we shouldn't disagree. We shouldn't have strong opinions. Like if we like, it's the same thing. Like you get, if you speak out against something, you're a Vaikari or you're like an Ardakari because you have these strong opinions. But it's true. Like even generally, not just Tamil women again, but like you don't want to disagree with people because you feel like you just nod your head basically and smile. And if you do say something, you're messy, you're problematic. And that's the issue when we stay silent in a lot of situations. We add to that reproduction of like the old family that we sit there and criticize. Because I know so many girls that will be like, yeah, our parents, like they're like the older generation, they're so bad for that. They don't even, the women and men, whatever. But then they'll reproduce that in their like friendship groups by like letting their friends, not just male friends, but even their female friends get away with so much rubbish, and by not calling them out because they want to avoid being labelled again messy, problematic, stuff like that. And that's when that reproduces, because those individuals will grow up thinking that's okay, and that's just how it
100%.
continues.
Even the amount of like homophobia and like casual racism that exists within like the Tamil boy culture, and so many girls just sit there and accept it, or will date these men that have these shitty
Or like
beliefs.
even jokes bringing other women down.
Yeah,
when you don't call that out, that's the biggest
But
obstacle,
like,
because
they will sit there and go because they want to be picked, really and truly, and it's not like I understand where that one
Because
comes
you feel
from,
awkward,
because it's like you
yeah,
feel awkward,
calling it
and
out.
also it's like, especially in like, I feel like the heterosexual world, you're so like geared to want male validation as women, because like I think we can all three of us agree, like at some point in our lives we've all been there.
Yeah, of course.
Like
You grow
I
out
do
of
think
but
it is it's an episode of womanhood.
Yeah.
But I just think, yeah, it's like, it doesn't do you any good. All it does is validate these men. They get away with their shitty behaviours. They think it's okay. And then because you've normalised it so much, you now start to believe it. Then you go on to reproduce it. And then next thing you know, it goes on for generations and generations and generations. This is the thing. Like, these are the cultural generational curses that we need to break. And we're not seeing that happen. Hey, I think this was quite a heavy conversation. But I do think it is incredibly important, because I think female friendships, and not just female friendships, but also like male friendships as well, but we'll have another conversation about that. But I think female friendships, for women especially, are so important and so pivotal within the Tamil community, because we are a small ethnic group, and I think that communal feel, there's nothing like it, and I think it is important to have those ties, and I think as all of us as friends, we can all agree how lovely it is, and how like it's just nice to bond over these things. So yeah. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed this conversation. Please do leave your thoughts in the comments below. Remember to like, share and subscribe to our channel, and follow us on social media.